The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Good morning or afternoon, everyone. My name is Jeremy Walsh, and I am the Director of Support, Training, and Documentation for BNI Connect. Today's webinar is on building VCP through BNI Connect. Another name that we have for it is maintaining your user profile. So today's webinar, what we're going to do is we're going to go through all the different aspects of the member profile, the things that you can fill in, where everything goes in your member profile, as well as where it all appears, because there are actually public places as well as inside places. So places where anybody in the world can see your information, and often do, as well as how you're going to appear to other people when they find you in BNI Connect. We're going to go through some best practices, and I'm also going to show you a couple of examples of how people have got to that profitability stage of the VCP process in order to, by keeping a good profile in BNI Connect. Today's webinar is live, so if you have any questions as we're going through, please do feel free to ask those questions. There's a questions control panel that allows you to type in your question, and I'll be able to talk through those answers and help you out. It is also being recorded, so this webinar will be available in two places. If you go to BNI Connect and click on the question mark within BNI Connect, it will take you to our support site, which is support.bniconnect.com. And if you scroll down to the training sessions, you will see some webinars listed here. If you click on one of the months, it will show you all of the webinars that were able to be recorded for that month, and you can review them, and this one will be part of that. You can also find it on youtube.com/BNI Connect Global. And we have all of our webinars updated there and uploaded to that site as well. So let's get started. Let's talk about visibility, credibility, and profitability within BNI Connect. And again, how that pertains specifically to you and your profile. Now, one thing that you may or may not be aware of is that anybody in the world can find you by going through your regional website. So you are very visible out there on the internet. Google does find it when they search, and keeping your information up to date in your profile will also help with those Google searches. But what does that look like? I'm going to go to our little test region here in Antarctica. And I'm just going to go, this is what somebody would see, depending on what region you're in. Every region has their own website. I happen to be a member in the Rhode Island region. Our regional website is bniri.com, but BNI Massachusetts, BNI New Mexico, everybody has their own. They can go there, they can click on Find a Member, and they can search for you. So they can search on that website either by name or keyword. I'm just going to do a search and bring up everybody here in Antarctica. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pick a random person here that's up in our Antarctic region, Andy Test here in the Burr chapter. Now, before you fill out your profile, this is what somebody is going to see when they find you in BNI Connect on the public sites. There's no picture. There's no company logo. All there is a name, a phone number, partial address, and what chapter you're in and what category you held. That's not really enough to build credibility out there on the internet. What you really need to do is to make sure that your profile is filled out to show them some things. Now, if I went to my own regional website, on the other hand, I go to bniri.com, and I'm going to do a search for myself. So I put my name in, Jeremy, do find, and here I am. Now this is my profile. If you look at the profile, you can now see that there's a picture, phone number, a mobile phone number, my website, my address, social media links, the ability to send me a message, an actual real email message, a little bit of information about my business, what chapter I'm in, a logo, and some more information about what good referrals are for me. This is called the TOPS profile. This is a much more visible profile. Google is going to keyword index all of these terms that are on this page. It's also a very credible profile because it builds confidence when people are looking at it. Now, there's also an inside profile. So this is available to anybody in the world. So anybody out there on the internet could find this particular profile. As a BNI member, when people find me, they have access to a little bit more information, but it's still all controlled through the member profile. So let's take a look at what that looks like. This is logged into BNI Connect now. And if I scroll down a little bit, you'll see at the bottom there's a red bar and it says Profile. This is what your profile looks like to other people. I'm going to click on the Profile button here, and it will take me to my particular profile. And you can see that I'm in the United States, the Rhode Island chapter, the different roles that I hold, my name, my industry. Again, this is the same My Business description that was on the public site. My keywords, how you can find me in BNI Connect, my company name, logo, a couple of additional phone numbers, my email address if I choose to have it displayed, website, social media links. So a lot of this information is the same with a little bit more detail. But then there's also the bio. So people have the ability to see my 60-second presentations. People have the ability to look at my gains profile, and people have the ability to look at my tops profile. So there's more available on the inside of BNI Connect. You can also see all of my connections, my testimonials that other people have left for me on my profile, a photo sharing gallery, the groups that I'm involved with, and my training history. So these are all of the things that people will see when they find you in BNI on the outside and the inside. So let's take a look. Where do we update all of this information in BNI Connect? Now the place to do that is through the My Account button in the upper right hand corner. So the My Account button will bring you to all of the different pages to update this information. If I click on the My Account button, this will take me to my Edit Profile screen. As you can see up here, it says Edit Profile, and this will allow us to go through and update all the information. You'll notice that it's broken into 6 different tabs that you have access to. This first one is the Main Profile tab. The second one is the User Profile tab. The third one is the Contact Details. Fourth one is the Account Settings. The fifth one is the Bio. And the sixth one is your training history. So let's start with the first one, which is the Main Profile. Now the top information is it's very basic information. What's your name? What's your company name? Just make sure that that is correct. If it's not correct, you can make corrections to that. Now this next one, we do have an international audience, but for those of us in the United States who may not know what VAT stands for, VAT is value added tax. It's kind of like the sales tax that we have here in the United States. Other countries may require a business to keep track of this number within their profile, so that's why there's a space for that here. If you're in the United States, you can safely ignore that. You can just leave that empty. Now you can verify that your industry and your classification are correct, as well as your chapter. If any of this is in error, you do need to talk to your director consultant of your chapter or talk to your regional office or executive director, and they'll be able to make those changes for you. Now, these next 2 sections are really where we want to spend a little bit more time. The first one is the My Business description. Now, the My Business description is if you've ever gone to a networking event and you met somebody that you've never met before and you need to tell them a little bit about your business, kind of like an elevator pitch or a little bit longer than maybe what you would say in a 60-second commercial, but how can you describe your business in maybe 3 or 4 sentences, a paragraph, to give somebody a better idea of what you do? That's what this My Business is. Now this My Business, this will appear both on the public side. So if I flip back over to my page on the public website, you'll see that it shows up on the public website, and that's in this gray box that's here. So you do want to take some time to explain your business well. Now the second portion on this page is the keywords. Keywords are how you're found in BNI Connect when people don't know your name. So this is an important one, especially if people are looking to find a florist in Florida. Well, they're not going to know who the florists are, but they need to be able to do a search for those people. Now, we've all been spoiled by Google and Bing and Yahoo and all of these big search engines that spend billions and billions of dollars to come up with algorithms to kind of guess at what you're looking for before you even know what you're looking for. BNI Connect's not quite that advanced. It's more of a database search. So when you're defining your keywords, you do need to be very careful to put in words that represent your business. Let me give you an example of that. So right here, you notice that a couple of my keywords are computer support. Now, if I go back to our regional website here, and I'm going to go to find a member. Now, if people are going to look for me as a member, more than likely they don't know who I am, but they're going to look for somebody that can help them with their computer. And I'm going to click OK. And now this is going to return 13 entries. So what this is telling me is that these are 13 people that if somebody was looking for help with a computer, these are the 13 people that they would most likely call. Now, our region has about 1,500 members, about 52 chapters. I know for sure that there are way more than 13 people in the computer industry in Rhode Island. How come they're not here then? Well, they're not here because they haven't filled out their keywords. Now, if instead I use the drop-down for the computer profession, this is going to bring back a much bigger list. And we have somewhere around 65 entries here, which is a little bit more realistic. Now that means that 65 minus 13, but about 52 people haven't gone in and updated their keywords. If you'd like to build some visibility, build some credibility for yourself, you need to go ahead and fill in those keywords and use words that people are going to find you for. If you're not sure what those words are, sit down with your search engine optimization person in your chapter or your region and see if they can come up with an idea for some words that might be beneficial for you. The other thing to keep in mind is this is a one-to-one search. So that means that accounting is a different word than accountant. So if you'd like to be found for accounting and as an accountant, be sure to put both of those words into your keywords. And again, if you have any questions, feel free to raise any questions at any time through the questions panel. So that's this first page here. Now the second page is the user profile page, and this is really where you go to change your password, change your memorable question and answer. You can even change your username. So you can make your username anything you'd like it to be, as long as it's unique in the system. You can also choose your language. Now, the language will control all of the different words throughout the screen. So we do have BNI Connect available in about 45 or so languages currently, and new languages are being added all the time. So do be sure also, if you're here in the United States, you want to make sure that you're using the English US version. If your language says something other than English US, switch it to English US. Most of the rest of the world, it just as an example, uses the date format of day, month, year. So here in the United States, we use month, day, year. So we would write March 5th as 3/5/13. The rest of the world would enter that as 5/3/13. So it can be very confusing if you're using the wrong language. Now, the memorable question and answer, that's important because if you need to reset your password, you will need to make sure that you have your memorable question and answer filled out. So you can see that my memorable question right now is favorite color, and my answer is BNI Burgundy. So if I ever forget my password, I'm going to want to reset that. Let me show you how to do that. If I go over to I have another window open here. Let's say that I forget my username and password. I can click on this lost password down here. This will take me to a screen where I need to enter in my email address. So this is the email address that's registered on your profile. And as soon as I click down in the answer field or hit tab, it will ask me what my question is. The question is favorite color. So I need to answer that correctly. So I would put in BNI Burgundy, and it would send me back a new password. Now, I would have actually gotten this question wrong, and the reason for that is the answer is case sensitive. So if we look back over at my other screen here, please know that the answer is case sensitive. So this answer is different than this answer, which is different than this answer. So make sure that your syntax is correct when you're putting in the answer and keep that in mind. If you do make any changes, do be sure to press the update button. Now you can also upload your profile image and your company logo here. So if you'd like to change either one of those, or if you'd like to add one, click on the Change Company Logo or Change Profile Picture. And then just click on the image that you'd like to change. So let's say I'd like to change this to a different logo. I'm going to click on Attach Image, the little magnifying glass there. I can go and I can find a new logo to put up here. And I'm going to put up the BNI Connect support logo. It will ask me if I want to crop my image, and I can click Save. Now the very next person that looks at my profile will see this new logo image. All right, so the next tab here is the Contact Details tab. Now the Contact Details has basically your contact information. So it has your phone number, direct number, home number, mobile number, pager number, voice number, toll-free number, fax number. You can enter all of this information in here. Also has your email address. Now your email address, this is going to be the email address that all of the communications in BNI Connect will be sent to. So anything, if you register for an event, the registration email will go to this email address, or the reminders for those events, or if your regional office or director consultant is looking to get in touch with you, it will go to this email address. So do make sure it's a valid email address, and this email address must be unique in the system. So if it is being used somewhere else, you'll have to choose a different one. Obviously, your website address. You can also add social media links. To add a social media link, you're just going to drop down this particular box, select the social media link you'd like to choose, and click Add. Now, I already have a Facebook one, so that was a bad example, but let's say I wanted to put my blog in there, or my YouTube site. I could click on that and then type in the address, or go over to that website and copy and paste it. And at the bottom we have our physical addresses. So you notice it's broken down into two different addresses. We have the top address, and this is the address that will appear on the public websites. So notice here, if I go back to my account, let me find myself here and go back. The top address is what appears, and you notice I have in here by appointment only. So if you are working from home, if you do not want to have your private personal residence up there on the internet, be sure to put something in like by appointment only. Now, if you have a regular office and you would like to have your address up there, you can just put that in instead. The bottom address, the billing address, this is used only for the regional office. So if your regional office needs to send you something in the mail, or they need to get in touch with you, please be sure to have a valid address under the billing address. All right, looks like we have a question from Catherine. Will we also review more in-depth usage of what we can do with our BNI Connect and how we can really make it work for our business? Catherine, if you have some specifics on that, I would love to talk about those after we get through the basic portion. So I'd love to help you out with that. Okay, so that's the contact details page. The very next page is the account settings. I'm going to skip that one for a second and come back to it. The next page is the bio. Now the bio is, well, your bio, all the different information about you. So this first section of the bio is this is the same bio that the Secretary Treasurers use before they introduce you at a 10-minute presentation. So Same exact one that was passed out in the Member Success Program. Take a few minutes to fill this particular profile out, and it's a good idea to come back every couple of months and make sure that it's up to date. Now, one of the great uses of this is that a lot of times before we have our 10-minute presentation in our chapter meetings, we're scrambling to write down on a piece of paper the things that our Secretary-Treasurer is going to announce for us. By filling it out once here in BNI Connect, your Secretary-Treasurer from your chapter can now use that profile going forward so they can have it on hand so you don't have to scramble at the last minute to do it. The second set here is the commercials. So there's a couple of reasons why you might want to put commercials into your BNI Connect profile. The first of which is that it is visible on your inside profile. On the BNI Connect profile, when other people view your profile, they can read those 60-second commercials. So why is that important? Well, there's 140,000 people in BNI Connect as members. Probably 139,970 of them will never visit your chapter and hear you present your 60 seconds. So it's a really good idea to be able to share that with a much larger audience. So take a few minutes and write down some of your best 60-second commercials, and you can keep them stored here in BNI Connect for other people to see. Now, the second reason for that is, and I'm sure this has never happened to you, but you realize at the very last minute that you're not going to be able to make your meeting the next day. So you have your phone, you make a phone call, you're able to get somebody to sub for you at the last minute, but you're nowhere near a computer and you're not going to be able to type out a 60-second commercial. Well, a fellow member of your chapter could jump onto your profile, or there's actually a report for this in BNI Connect, but they'd be able to print out your 60 seconds and give it to your substitute in the event of an emergency that you can't make it to your meeting. So do take a couple of minutes to fill out your commercials. Now the next section is the gains profile. Now gains, if you go back to your member success program, stands for goals, accomplishments, interests, networks, and skills. Why would it be important to put the gains into your profile? Well, again, if you remember from Member Success Program, one of the most effective things that you can do before a one-to-one meeting with somebody is to do a gains exchange, which means I give you my gains profile, you give me your gains profile, and we review those before the one-to-one meeting. Now, it's great to do that because there's a lot of stuff that we're going to write down in our gains profile that we may never talk about in a one-to-one. A lot of people don't necessarily like to brag about their accomplishments. Well, that's something that when it's written down in your gains profile and you do that exchange, people can find more information about you. It really does help to shorten the credibility curve to, again, build credibility with those people on a much shorter time frame. So take some time to fill out the gains profile, and I'll show you in just a few minutes how to do a gains exchange within BNI Connect before your next one-to-one. Finally, on this page, we have the TOPS profile. Now, the TOPS profile is your ideal referral, your top product, your top problem solved, my favorite BNI story, and my ideal referral partner. Now, this one is important, and you may even want to start with this one. If you're feeling overwhelmed, this is a lot of stuff to enter, you may want to start with the TOPS profile. Now, the reason for that is that this is the one that shows up on the regional website. So if you notice, the things that show up on your regional website, you can see my logo changed immediately as soon as I updated it, are the My Business, your contact details, your picture, your logo, and the TOPS profile. So those are the things, if you're strategizing, you only have a couple of minutes to go in and start doing some updates to your profile. Start with the My Business, check your contact details, and then fill out your TOPS profile. After you've done that, then definitely go back and fill out the rest of your bio. So the gains profile, the commercials, and the My Bio. As you're going through, you would like to make sure that you click the update button regularly. Just like working on a very long Word document, you want to make sure that you save your changes regularly. So be sure to click on the update button. And finally, we have the Training History tab. The Training History tab is really for your review only. If there are any training events missing on this particular list, just contact your regional office, your chapter director, and they will be able to get this information updated for you. As you register for trainings in your region and you attend those trainings through BNI Connect, they will be automatically added to your profile. But again, if any are missing, your regional office can certainly help you out by adding those to your profile. All right, as promised, let's go back to this Account Settings tab. Now, what the Account Settings is now that you have all this information in BNI Connect, who do you want to share it with? So this first section here is the member-to-member profile, or the inside of BNI Connect, so the logged in portion. And again, you can view that one by clicking on the profile button in the bottom left-hand corner. So again, this gives you control of which of these tabs you would like to share with people. So the first one here is Show the Bio tab of my networking profile. So you can choose to either display or hide the Bio tab. You can share that Bio tab with everybody in BNI Connect, that is. You can share it with just people that you're connected to, or you can share it with nobody at all. The same thing with your Connections tab, your My Testimonials tab, your My Picture Gallery. Now the email and contact details, that is in relation to this first tab. So your contact details, which is all of this information here, as well as all of this information here, you can choose to either display that or hide it to everybody, just your contacts, or just or nobody at all. The email address is a separate. You can choose to display or hide that separately. Now the second section here is the BNI public websites. And for here you can choose what the general public on the regional websites will be able to see. So again, that one is this profile here. So which of this information would you like to share? If you would like to opt out completely, you wouldn't even show up in a search on the regional websites, you can uncheck this button. And people will not be able to find you at all on the regional websites. Your profile will not be displayed. Now the second option is allow people to email me from the BNI public website. If you notice on your regional website, on this profile here, there's an option that says Send Message. If you click the Send Message button, it will pull up a little form that allows somebody to enter in their email address, subject, a regular old-fashioned email. And we even have a CAPTCHA here, so we make sure that robots aren't sending hundreds and hundreds of spam messages. But this will send an email to your real email address. It's not an inside BNI Connect email. It will send it to your real email address from the person that is sending you an email or that looked you up on the regional website. The final option here is to show your contact details on the BNI public website. Now, one of the reasons why I highly recommend that you put something in like by appointment only is that if you uncheck Show Contact Details, it removes just about all of your contact details information. So I'll show you how that looks. I'm going to uncheck that and choose Update. And let me just refresh this page here. You'll notice that it gets rid of all of my address information, my phone numbers, so it makes it really difficult for people to contact you. I would highly recommend, if you do work at a home office and you just don't want your address to show up, put something in like by appointment only as the first line of the address. Now I'm going to turn that back on because I do want people to contact me. So the bottom section here has to do with really the social media portion of BNI Connect, which is how you get notified of certain things within the social media portion. So with the group, there's discussion groups within BNI Connect. If you're participating in those discussion groups, you can choose to get emails about those every time a new post is added, which is my preference, once per day, once per week, or you can opt out of notifications altogether. You can choose to forward them to a different email address if you'd like to. And the bottom section has to do with the notifications for if you receive a message in BNI Connect, if you would like to receive a copy of mail that you send, so kind of like a sent items be sent to your regular email address, if you'd like your connection requests to be sent to a regular email address, your recommendation requests, and if you'd like to opt out of optional communications from your regional office. So we're at the bottom of the hour. I would like to remind you that having a complete profile will definitely help with your profitability in BNI Connect. For a couple of examples of that, the last few versions of SuccessNet, there's some great stories. Here's a story that's actually on the Southern California website about where did it go? This is an example here of a member that received some business just by having her profile filled out. There's another story here where one of our members in the New York area landed Microsoft as a client just by having their profile filled out. Somebody in California was looking for a photographer for an event for Microsoft down in the New York area. They wanted to have it be a BNI referral. They found this person through BNI Connect, and simply because a photographer had their profile filled out, they were able to pass this referral, and this person landed Microsoft as a client. And here's another one of a florist, and she has actually gone so far now as to create a BNI Connect group within the system to continue that conversation with florists around the world. But again, it was all because they had their profiles filled out within BNI Connect. So again, I would like to thank everybody for their time today. For those of you that have to leave right away at the bottom of the hour, thank you for being here. I will gladly open it up for questions, and I am always happy to stay on these webinars as long as people have questions, but I do want to respect the time of anybody that does need to leave right away. Again, the webinar is being recorded in its entirety, including any upcoming questions, and will be posted on youtube.com/BNI Connect Global. Please also join us on our Facebook site, which is facebook.com/BNI Connect Global. We do webinar reminders, we do updates, tips and tricks, all sorts of things up here on our Facebook site as well. And of course, feel free to connect with me in BNI Connect. My name is Jeremy Walsh. If you found today was useful, please do a good referral for me is to go back to your chapters. Let them know about these webinars. You can find the most recent schedule on your regional event calendar or by going to the support site, clicking on the question mark in BNI Connect, or go to support.bniconnect.com, and you will see the list of upcoming webinars always right there on our support homepage. So do we have any questions whatsoever? I'd be happy to answer those questions. So Catherine did ask a question before. She said she's looking for more information on in-depth usage of what we can do with our BNI Connect and how we can really make it work. So one thing that I mentioned earlier is that, again, with the gains exchange, that's a great way to get more information about your one-to-one partner before you meet with them. So how do you find that information on the other person? Now, there's a great report in BNI Connect that allows you to look up all of this profile information for them. The way you do that is by going to Reports, Chapter, and then click on the Member Details Reports. So by doing this, you can view a member's gains profile. So let me switch back. I'm going to switch back to my own chapter here. And if let's say I was somebody else in my chapter and I was going to be doing a one-to-one with me, I would click on the View Member Gains. I would choose my name from the list, and they would get my gains profile. Now, if the other person hasn't logged into BNI Connect or maybe not very computer savvy, I could also use this to be able to print out my gains and be able to send it to them ahead of time. You can also switch very quickly over to view the bio. So for the secretary-treasurers out there that need to print out somebody's bio before their 10-minute presentation, you can also switch over to the TOPS profile. And again, if you need to get some commercials out for a sub that's coming in, you can print out the commercials as well. So that's one way that you can use the system in a slightly more in-depth fashion. Did you have any other specific questions, Catherine, or do you find that helpful? And does anybody else have any questions at all about BNI Connect? Okay, well, if we don't have any more questions, I will thank everybody for their time today. Again, I look forward to seeing you on a future webinar. Please join us on facebook.com/BNI Connect Global, youtube.com/BNI Connect Global. This webinar should be uploaded in the next couple of days or so if you would like to review it or forward the link on to other members of your chapter. So again, thank you so very much, everybody, and have a wonderful afternoon. Happy connecting, everyone.